there, and welcome back to the Squeezebox Advent Calendar on the 5th of December. And today is the day that Bellowhead are doing their live streaming gig, so I'm in a Bellowhead mood. I've got my Bellowhead sweatshirt on that I found. So if you haven't got your tickets, last chance today. Okay, so I'm going to play a box that I played a lot with Bellowhead for you today and take you on a little tour around that. This is this one. It's a Saltarelle Connemara II, and this is the one that I play, which is in the key of C and F. So C and F, very good keys for singing with, and a lot of the songs in Bellowhead were in C or F. And but it's also for the tunes. It allows people to play tunes in D minor much easier than you can on a DG system. So I often think of it as a D minor box. So what can I say? I got this one because my normal box, as I say, normal box, my first posh box I ever got was a Saltarelle Connemara II in DG, which we'll see later in the series. That one's brown and it's from an earlier period, and it's probably still my favourite box to play of all of them because I'm A, most familiar with it, and B, it's just got something rather special about its sound. Now, I wish I could say the same about this one. Not all boxes are made equal, even if you buy the same brand. Sometimes you'll find that one's particularly sweet sounding, and that can be misleading when you're looking to get another one. It's an interesting shape, these ones. They're very, you see, it's quite narrow in that direction. Definitely no wider than a Hona poker work, but it's a bit longer in this direction, and that's because it's got an extra half row of buttons on it here. And the half row is what they call a helper row. So the main keys are C and F, and I've got 4 buttons here which play sort of reversed notes that I don't have in the right direction down here, and some of them are accidentals, and I've actually got accidentals at the bottom here as well. Accidentals mean notes not in the key that the instrument's in, so I think of it as black notes. It's a 2-voice instrument, which is why it's also quite narrow in this direction. So without further ado, we'll take you on a little tour of the inside of this instrument and take various bits of it apart and have a look. And we'll also, by demand, I'll say, have a look at how these 2 pieces down here, you might have noticed that on some of the other instruments, and I mentioned that they're for attaching the microphone. So have a look at how my microphone's attached to this instrument. Okay, let's look inside. Okay, so here we have the Saltarelle Connemara II, the CF box. And before I take it to bits, I'll just explain a bit more about these microphone fittings that I've been asked about. What these are simply, I don't know if you can see close up, but the ring-shaped countersunk neodymium magnets. Okay, and you can get those if you search around online. You'll find a UK supplier that does them in all shapes and sizes. I've chosen these, which are sort of about, I think, 1.5 or 1.3 centimeters diameter. So on the instrument I've got a pair generally in this sort of position, and they're screwed physically into the instrument, so it's kind of a permanent thing if you're thinking of doing it. And on the left hand I either have 1 or 2. As you can see, I've had to actually share magnets, but it works fine with 1, but there would have been another one there. And it's quite important that it's next to a hole where the sound comes out, because the sound doesn't come out of the wood, it comes out of the holes. And so here are what I've done to the microphones. So for the left hand one, this is the little device I've made. Now inside there is just a fairly standard microphone capsule. It's a Audio Technica condenser mic, and but this part is I don't know if you can recognise that from looking at it, but that's the top of a sports cap water bottle, this screw bit, and here's its counterpart here. I've made some holes in the end here to allow the bass waves to go through, and then this microphone has been put through, and then I've wrapped it with some electrical insulation tape until it fits in the gap. But the important thing is how this bit attaches, because this stuff, I might have mentioned it before, polymorph. It's a plastic which you can mould in just boiling water. So if you've got access to a kettle, you can get the little granules of polymorph make them go soft, and then they're mouldable. So I moulded this shape, and while it was still warm, I had the indentation fitted so that they attach onto the magnet on the other side. So that's now really tightly on, even with only one, and with two it's, you have to really wrench it off, which means it's not going anywhere when you're playing. And of course these are opposing poles, so I can't remember which way around I have it, but there's a south pole and a north pole facing up, and I have them facing each other, so there's a very tight bond. I can have the left hand one on the right hand. Here's the right hand. This is the original clip-on gooseneck for the microphone, but again polymorph has been used to extend that, so I've got a larger area here. The little clip was only tiny, and again while it's hot I've put it on the instrument, and now that's not going anywhere. I think I was inspired to do it by the way Mac computers have their chargers, but this is obviously a lot stronger, bigger magnets. Anyway, that's magnets out of the way. I'm not going to show you a whole lot of this one, but we are going to do some taking apart. So first I'm going to take this front grill off, and I might take this keyboard cover off, because it's a bit of a different system to how we had with the poker work and things. So let's get this grill off. Okay, so there's the inside of the grill, and as you can see, as I said, just 2 rows of pallets, and so they don't always correspond to the same row of buttons. See, there's one missing there, and that one is on the inside row there, and then these 4 extras are on the inside row. Let's see how that works by taking the front bit off. So the screws are out, and this flat keyboard is designed with this cover that screws on to the main mechanism. Now if I pull this up, you can see what's going on inside a bit better now. So as you can see, these aluminium rods pivot here on an axle, and they fan out to fill the right places for the 2-voice. For replacing springs, each one has its own spring underneath the levers here, and you need to get in there and with a pair of very fine nose pliers if you want to start taking those apart, but I'm not going to do that. So there you go, that's how the right hand works. I'll give you a quick look inside at how the reed blocks look. Again, we're on a 3 pins on the front because it's a slightly bigger box. Ooh, excuse me. So I don't know if you can see inside there, there's the bass reed blocks. Again, standard 2 reed blocks, 1 for the basses. These basses have got 3 reeds in them in octaves, and the chords are 3 reed chords as well. And as you can see, very simple inside here. It's another one where I've decided against having the metal tie, but you can see the metal tie is actually in place here still. What you can do to give it a slightly different sound is to have the 2 reed blocks tied together, and that can give you a bit more of a stable tuning on the reeds, because that means there can be less, on a very loud note, there can be less wiggling of these blocks. But actually they're really nicely in place just with their end screws here, and so they're not going anywhere. And I find it just gives it a little bit of a sweeter tone having them not tied. It does depend on which box you're talking about. Anyway, that's inside of the more modern Saltarelle Connemara II. We'll put it back together. There you go, all back together again. Let's go and see what it does. Right then, so we better get on and start making some noises with it for you. And as with some of my other boxes, we'll find there's a stop on the left hand here. Takes the chords down to ones without thirds. So when it's pulled out, you just get the first and the fifth in the chord, and you push that in, you get the thirds in. There's no stop to change how the basses sound in this one. So the extra things on the left hand, basically the ones nearest the ground are what you'd expect. So you've got F on the push, C on the pull, there. There's a B flat chord here in both directions. Then you've got an transpose from D, G to C, F. That's an A on the push, A major with the thirds in, and a D minor on the pull there, and then this is C on the push and G on the pull. Then I've got these 4 extra buttons on the top, 2 pairs, and so basically you've got an E minor there on the push, an E flat on the pull, and then this pair just does reversals. So I've got the F on the push down the bottom, but I've also got it on the pull here, and I've got the G on the pull on this pair of buttons and the G on the push there. So that's the left hand explained, and my most of my 12 bass 2.5 row instruments have the same layout. And yeah, so we've got accidental buttons down the bottom. They're lower than they'd normally appear. So they're repeated at the top here, and this top one here is an octave higher. And then these ones tend to give reversals. I've got a reversal of the E flat there, which helps me play in C minor on this one. Some reversals. Reversals make playing runs of notes all in one direction of the bellows a bit easier for this one, which has got the B flat and the C in both directions turned around. Okay, so I'm going to play something on it, and as I said, it's a Bellowhead box, so I'll play the melodeon bit of a Bellowhead arrangement, so you have the unusual ability to hear what it's doing. And this will be on tonight's live streaming gig. It's a tune called The Parson's Farewell. funny without the band. See the rest of them tonight. See you in the next one of these tomorrow. Bye.